Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All Guru Sri Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. I'll start the sharing, Mataji. Swami Guru Mataji, you can please
Sure.
start the prayers.
Yes, please.
Krishna, you can start the sharing prayer. Sorry, I forgot.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevayat Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namo Pankajanaಭಾಯ Namo Pankajamaline Namo Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangri. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 17, verses 16 to 31. The victory of the Hiranyaksha over all the directions of the universe. Text 16. These two demons who appeared in the ancient times soon began to exhibit uncommon bodily features. They had steel-like frames which began to grow just like two great mountains. Text 17. Their bodies began so tall that they seemed to kiss the sky with the crest of their golden crown. They blocked the view of all directions and while walking shook the earth at every step. Their arms were adorned with brilliant bracelets, and they stood as if covering the sun with their waist, which were bound with excellent and beautiful grills. Text 18. Prajapati Kasyapa, the creator of the living entities, gave his twin sons their names. The one who was born first he named Hiranyaksha, and the one who was first conceived by Diti he named Hiranyakasyapu. Text 19. The eldest child, Hiranyakasyapu, was unafraid of death from anyone within the three worlds because he received a benediction from Lord Brahma. He was proud and puffed up due to this benediction and was able to bring all the three planetary systems under his control. Text 20. His younger brother Hiranyaksha was also ready to satisfy his elder brother by his activities. Hiranyaksha took a club on his shoulders and traveled all over the universe with a fighting spirit just to satisfy Hiranyakasyapu. Text 21. Hiranyaksha's temper was difficult to control. He had anklets of gold tinkling about his feet. He was adorned with a gigantic garland, and he rested his huge mace on one of his shoulders. Text 22. His mental and bodily strength, as well as the boon conferred upon him, had made him proud. He feared death at the hands of no one, and there was no checking him. The gods, therefore, was seized with fear at his very sight, and they hide themselves. Even a snake hide themselves for fear of Garuda. Text 23. On not finding Indra and the other demigods who had previously been intoxicated with power, the chief of the Daityas, seeing that they had all vanished before his myth, roared loudly. Text 24. After returning from the heavenly kingdom, the mighty demon who was like an elephant in the breath for the sake of spot divided into the deep ocean which was roaring terribly. Text 25. On his entering to the ocean, the aquatic animals who formed the host of Varuna were stricken with fear and ran far away. Thus Hiranyaksha showed his splendor without dealing a blow. Text 26. Moving about in the ocean for many, many years, the mighty Hiranyaksha smote the gigantic wind-tossed waves again and again with his iron mace and reached Vibhavari, the capital of Varuna. Text 27. Vibhavari is the home of Varuna, lord of the aquatic creatures and guardians of the lower regions of the universe, where the demons generally reside. There Hiranyaksha fell at Varuna's feet like a low-born man. And to make fun of him, he said with a smile, give me battle, O Supreme Lord. Text 28. You are the guardian of an entire sphere and a ruler of the wide frame, having crushed the might of the arrogant and conceited warriors, and having conquered all the Daityas and Dhanavas in the world, you once performed a Rajasuya sacrifice to the Lord. Text 29. Thus, mocked by an enemy whose vanity knew no bounds, the worshipful Lord of the water waxed angry. But by dint of his reason, he managed to curb the anger that had sprung up in him. And he replied, "O dear one, we have now descended from the warfare, having grown too old for combat." Text 30. You are so skilled in war that I do not see anyone else but the most ancient person, Lord Vishnu, who can give satisfaction in battle to you. Therefore, O chief of the Asuras, approach him, whom even heroes like you mentioned with praise. Text 31. Varuna continued, on reaching him, you will be rid of your pride at once and will lie down on the field of the battle, surrounded by dogs, for eternal sleep. It is in order to extremate wicked fellows like you, and to show his grace to the victorious, that he assumes his various incarnations like Varaha. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 17, entitled Victory of the Hiranyaksha over all the directions of the universe. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much, Madhai. Krishna Prabhu, you can start, Prabhu, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, sure, Prabhu. Are you able to hear, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu, I can hear you okay.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Swamini Mataji, for reading translations for today's Bhagavatam session. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshuronmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pachatta Deshatarani. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 17, titled Victory of Hiranyaksha over all the directions of the universe. So just to give a background, in the previous chapter we heard Lord Brahma narrating how these two doorkeepers of Vaikuntha planet, Jaya and Vijaya, were cursed by 4 Kumaras to take birth in this material world as a demons. Of course, in this material world. Of course, at that time, Lord Vishnu comes to resolve the issue. So first he glorifies the 4 Kumaras for their Brahmanical qualification. Then 4 Kumaras could understand that the Lord Vishnu is none other than the Supreme Lord, and he is glorifying them to show how one to be humble, so that the general people can follow. And they also applies for being angry and cursing these 2 great devotees, the doorkeepers of Vaikuntha planet. So then the Lord tells that, these two doorkeepers, who are his pure devotees, will take birth in the material world and remembers him in angry mode. And then they will come back within the short period of time. So then the four Kumaras leaves the Vaikuntha abode. So in this chapter, we hear how these two doorkeepers, Jaya and Vijaya, entered in the womb of Mother Diti, and Mother Diti, knowing that these two sons will cause troubles to the demigods or the sages, so she holded the pregnancy for 100 years so that the troubles will be postponed. And we also heard how when they're coming out from the womb, so many inauspicious signs showed up in the whole universe. So, and after they came out, they are named as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. And in this chapter, we see that how the younger one, Hiranyaksha, terrified the universe. So, we are reading today from Sloka 16 to the end of the chapter 31, Sloka 31. And in the last session, we heard how the demigods, after hearing from Lord Brahma for the cause of the darkness in the universe, then they were freed from the fear. And of course, we also heard how Diti holded the pregnancy for 100 years to postpone the troubles of the demigods. And then the natural disturbances that were shown up during the birth of these two demons, like earthquakes, or the deities are crying in the temple and leaving, or like that. So today we'll see how the anger one, Hiranyaksha, terrified the universe. So in the slokas 16, we see that after the birth of these two demons, so they exhibited uncommon bodily features. And it's mentioned in this sloka that their bodies are like a steel-like frames, and they are grown like two great mountains. Prabhupada mentions in the purport that as we see, there are two classes of the men in the world. So like demons and demigods. And the demons, their concern is more self-centered, like, they want to make their body stronger, like the physical and material upliftment. But for the demigods, they are more concerned with the spiritual upliftment. So since these two sons are demonic personalities, so they're more concerned in the material upliftment. So that's why their bodies, they develop like a steel-like frames, and also two great mountains. So and not only that, Prabhupada mentions in the purport that these two sons of Diti, demons, they accumulate a lot of wealth. And they consider that as the success of the life. Of course, even today, so I talk myself also, many people, they consider themselves successful if they accumulate a lot of wealth and take care of the family by providing nice comforts of the material comforts, like that, but not caring for the spiritual life. But of course, the scriptures stresses that is not the case. If one leads the life just for body maintenance, then it is a failure. So they are not making their human life successful. So one should always add the spiritual practice in their life. So in the text 17, we see that the bodies of these two demons are very tall. So they seem to kiss the sky with the crest of their gold crowns. So very tall, like, and I think I heard in one lecture. So during the Treta Yuga, during the pastimes of Lord Ramchandra, when the fight started between Lord Ramchandra and Ravanasura. So at one point, Ravanasura could understand that Lord Ramchandra and Lakshmana, they are not ordinary personalities. They are very powerful. Initially, he thought that they could defeat them very easily, but later he could understand that they are not ordinary personalities. So it's very difficult for him to defeat by himself. So he wanted to take the support of Daitya family. So the other family members of Diti or Daitya. So he remembered Bali Maharaj. So he went to the Bali Maharaj and he requested help and support and requested to fight on behalf of him with Lord Ramchandra. And Bali Maharaj advised that, this Lord Ramchandra is none other than the Supreme Lord. So he cannot win over Lord Ramchandra. So he requested to surrender to Lord Ramchandra. But Ramanasura did not like that idea. So Bali Maharaj took him to one place and he showed a huge gold mountain and he asked him to lift that. And Ravanasura could not lift it. Then Bali Maharaj told that he took Ravanasura in the sky, and from the sky he showed that huge gold mountain is an earring of Hiranyakashipu, who was killed by Lord Narasimhadev. So we can see that the earring of Hiranyakashipu was a big, huge mountain. It's a huge mountain. So with that, we can at least get some kind of an idea how tall their bodies are. So then Malbharas told to Ravanasura that so this Hiranyakashipu, who is so tall and his one earring is a huge mountain, he was easily killed by Lord Narasimhadev, who is none other than Lord Ramchandra himself. So, and without any weapon also. So then how can Ravanasura can win over Lord Ramchandra? So he suggested not to fight against him. Instead, he surrendered. Of course, the demonic mentalities, because they're very puffed up, so they will not surrender. But that pastime shows that, the bodies of this Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu are very tall. So just an earring is a huge, big gold mountain. Then we can guess or understand or get an idea how the bodies are very tall. Prabhupada also mentions that if a race appears a strong body, then it is understood that that country is materially very advanced or economically very strong. And we can see that some countries which are economically strong, people in that country, they say that their bodies are strong or their health is very appropriate like that. But in some countries where the economically they're very poor or it's not good, and because they don't get enough nutritious food, so their bodies are not strong and their growth is also not too tall. Yeah, they're not too. So in the text 18, we see that Kashyap Prajapati named their two sons, and here is interesting point is one who was born first is named as Hiranyaksha, and one who was first conceived named Hiranyakashipu. So it's also very interesting. Like, it shows the power of the Vedic knowledge or these saintly people's wonderful knowledge. Like, Diti delivered two kids. So here Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, because of two successive drops of Prajapati Kashyapa entered into the Diti's womb. So the first drop that entered into the womb of Mother Diti caused the first baby to born, and the second first baby to be conceived. So then the second drop is the second baby. So in this case, second drop is the Hiranyaksha and the first drop is Hiranyakashipu. So the Hiranyakashipu entered into the womb of Mother Diti first, but he was born later. So the first one who has entered into the womb of Mother Diti came out later, the second one. So in this case, Hiranyakashipu entered in the womb of Mother Diti first, but Hiranyaksha came out from the womb of Mother Diti first. So that's how the process is. But since the Hiranyakashipu was entered into the womb of Mother Diti first, he is the elder one. The second one is Hiranyaksha, even though he came out from the womb in the first. So in the olden days, it is they have this great Vedic knowledge that they know that, whoever comes first, if it is twins, if it is twin sons, two sons are born at the same time. So they know that whoever came first is the younger one, not the elder one. But in modern days, we see that, at least I see myself, I heard in some cases that whoever came first, they consider them as the elder personalities. But actually, it is the younger one. So here we see that the elder child Hiranyakashipu, even though he came from the womb after Hiranyaksha, but he is the elder child because he entered into the womb in the beginning first. So he is unafraid of death because he received benedictions from Lord Brahma. So he was so proud and puffed up because of this benediction. So he was able to bring all the 3 planet systems under his control. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport that Hiranyakashipu went severe austerities and pleased Lord Brahma and got benedictions. Those benedictions are like, it's moreover similar to the immortality. Of course, it's not immortal, but kind of like that. Because Lord Brahma himself is not immortal in this. Of course, whoever is in this material world, they have to live one day. So he cannot give that benediction of immortality. And also, we hear that this what kind of benedictions he received from Lord Brahma in the later chapters, like he can't kill by any weapons, he cannot be killed by in the daytime or nighttime, or he cannot be killed by inside the house or outside house, like that, or in the sky or the ground, like that. So, but still, he was killed by the Supreme Lord. So through this pastime, the Krishna is also showing that, teaching that even a powerful personalities like Hiranyakashipu is so strong and conquered all the 3 worlds. He had a great benedictions, but still he can't stay in this material world because this is ashashvatam. Dukkalayam ashashvatam. So janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha dosham darshanam. So that's why it is stressed. One should take up this Krishna consciousness and go back home, back to Godhead, so that one can live eternally. Though we want to live eternally, but it is not possible in this material world. So that's why to live eternally and blissful, continuous happiness, one should go back home, back to Godhead. So in the text 20, we see that Hiranyakashipu's younger brother, Hiranyaksha, is always ready to satisfy his elder brother, and and he traveled all over the universe with a fighting spirit. For what purpose? Just to satisfy his elder brother, Hiranyakashipu. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport that this is the demonic tendency. Like Hiranyakashipu himself is exploiting the mother nature, and he also trained Hiranyaksha so to exploit the mother earth. So that's a demonic tendency. Like, not only him, he will train all his family members to exploit the mother nature and indulge in sense gratification, and also they help him to satisfy his senses for his sense gratification. So that's a difference between the demonic personalities and demigods. So demigods are always they engage themselves in pleasing the Supreme Lord, and also they try to engage their family members or their all the resources in the service of the Supreme Lord. So here in Hiranyakashipu, not only he is conquering all the planet systems in the universe, but he also trained his younger brother Hiranyaksha to do that. So this is one thing that we also need to take up as instruction for us, like, are we trying ourselves in Krishna consciousness, and also inspiring our family members or friends to progress in the path of Krishna consciousness. So that way they will be happy, and they can also help us to progress in the path of bhakti, and we can also be happy. But if we train our family members friends in indulging in sense gratification, and their future will be very trouble or problematic because of the bad karma accrual. So that's one thing that we can learn from here. And in text 21, we see that Hiranyaksha temper was very high, so one cannot able to control. He's always looking how to exploit the mother nature, the resources. And we see that his mace is also very huge. Of course, we understand the body is very tall and very strong, so obviously the mace is also very huge. And we heard how one earring is a huge mountain, then we can see how the mace will be very huge. And text 22 we see that the bodily strength made him very proud, and he's not fearful of death. So he went uh, to the demigods, and they were very fearful, like how the snakes hide themselves in the fear of Garuda. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport that both Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, because they performed great austerities, they received benedictions from Lord Brahma. So that's why there is no one in the universe who can kill these personalities. So that's why they are very they are fearless. They are going everywhere and trying to exploit the mother nature and cause troubles to the demigods or saintly personalities. So as soon as they are coming, when the news, these demigods hear the news that this Hiranyaksha is coming, so they are fearful. They run away. So similarly, Hiranyaksha went to the Swargaloka. We see here that but Indra ran away along with all other demigods. So then this Hiranyaksha felt that it is a victory, so he roared loudly, so as a sign of victory. And then he returned from heavenly kingdom, from the Swargaloka, because all the demigods along with Indra, they all ran away. So he left that heavenly planet, and then he went into the ocean, roaring terribly. And Prabhupada mentions in this next sloka, we see that the Hiranyaksha entering into the ocean, the aquatic animals, they were fearful, stricken with fearful, and ran far away. So, and Prabhupada mentions in the purport that usually the demonic people, they like to show their power or their wealth. Like how Hiranyaksha here is terrifying with his power. Not only the demigods or Indra or the other living entities, even the aquatics also. But on the contrary, sometimes even the devotees, though they are very powerful, but they are very humble. But the demonic qualities are different. They want to show their power. And Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also mentions that the qualities of the demons are Dambo, Darpa, Abhimanascha, like that. They are pride, arrogance, and anger, harshness, and they are in ignorance, like that. So generally the demons are in the mode of ignorance or maybe little bit passion, but the devotees, of course, devotees are transcendental, but the demigods, they are in predominantly in mode of goodness with a little bit of passion. So in the text 26, we see that Hiranyaksha, so he moved in the ocean for many years, and then he reached the Vibhavari. Vibhavari is the capital of Varuna. Prabhupada mentions that the demigod Varuna is the in charge of the water, the predominating deity of water. So on his capital here we see that is a Vibhavari. So since he's the in charge of the water, we see that even the capital Vibhavari, the capital of Varuna, is within the watery kingdom. And then this Hiranyaksha reaching to the Vibhavari, the capital of the Varuna. So he fell at Varuna's lotus feet like a low-born man, and he's making fun of that, and he's saying that, give me a battle, Supreme Lord. So this is a another nature of the demons. They make fun of others. So because he is very strong and he's popped up with that power, so he's so proud. So he is going to the Varuna and asking for a battle. So of course we see in the coming slokas, like the text 28, you see that is this Hiranyaksha is saying that, having crushed the might of arrogant and conceit warriors, and having conquered all the Daityas and Danavas in the world, so Varuna performed a Rajasuya sacrifice sometime back. So then Varuna understood that this Hiranyaksha is mocking. So then he replied with that, so we now desisted from warfare, having grown too old for combat. So, and Prabhupada mentions in the purport that the demonic persons, they always challenge others and tries to occupy others' property by force. So how this Hiranyaksha is showing, like begging to fight, even though Varuna doesn't have a desire to fight. That is the materialistic people's concept also. Of course, here Varuna, understanding that even though he got anger, so he could able to manage it, and then understand the position of the Hiranyaksha. So he is mentioning here that having grown too old for combat, he is not very suitable for fighting with him like that. And in the text 30, Varuna is mentioning here that you don't see anyone else in the university who can fight against him except Lord Vishnu, who can satisfy in battle to Hiranyaksha. Not only that, he is saying that even heroes like Hiranyaksha, they prize Lord Vishnu for his fighting abilities. So he's directing, Varuna is directing Hiranyaksha to fight with the Supreme Lord Vishnu, who can satisfy his desire to fight. So in text 31, we see that Varuna is saying that once he fights against Lord Vishnu, then his pride will be rid of, and he will lie down in the battlefield, surrounded by dogs for eternal sleep. Means that he will be killed by the Supreme Lord. And here it is mentioned that now he assumed his various incarnations like Varaha. So we'll hear the pastime of Lord Varaha in the coming chapters. But here Varuna is directing Hiranyaksha to go and fight against with the Supreme Lord Vishnu, who is in the form of Varaha. Of course, this is Krishna has many incarnations, various incarnations like Matsya Avataram, Varaha Avataram, Sukara, like that. Like that. All these incarnations Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita that to protect the devotees and to annihilate the demons. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritanam. Of course, the Acharyas explains that that's a secondary reason, but the primary reason is to perform all these wonderful, beautiful pastimes, so that the general people, when they hear and when they read, so they will be attracted to the Supreme Lord and take up the process of Krishna consciousness, so that they can make their human life successful. Takta deham punarjanma naiti mameti, so Arjuna, like that. So of course, in this Kali Yuga, Krishna appeared as Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, not to kill the personalities who are having demonic qualities. So instead, so he is using this powerful weapon of holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, to kill the demonic tendencies within us. So within the people of Kali Yuga, so that they can get rid of these demonic qualities and improve the godly qualities, so that they can go back home, back to Godhead. So I'll pause it here. Thank you all for giving this opportunity. Grandra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhu. Wonderful.